Hello guys, welcome back to my video. Today we're back at the Unreal Engine Survival tutorial series. Last time we left off, we created a system when you pick up items from the ground and you equip it on your hotbar, it shows the name. So today we're gonna be making crafting, and also as you can see, I'm in Unreal Engine 4 now. I don't know if I should actually transfer this tutorial series into an Unreal Engine 5 tutorial, but let me know if you guys want me to switch this out to an Unreal Engine 5. So first of all, we need to go to the blueprints and go to our structures. As you can see, we made structures for destructible object and item. Now we're gonna make a structure for recipes. For this structure, we're gonna put the items needed to craft some stuff like that. So we are going to right click over here, go to blueprints and add structure. The structure name is gonna be called recipe. Let me call it recipe struct. It's better name than item var. Now once it's open, you will see like a member var _0 boolean. Switch that out with an integer. Yes, it's an integer, and make it an array. Or actually no, make it a map. The other one, both are gonna be integers. This is gonna be called item required to craft. Item required. Yes. The item required is gonna have like, for example, I wanted to have whatever the ID of two is, like a 1 or 2, and then here's the amount. Here's the map which shows the ID, and here's the amount. Right now it's set at 0. Should be default as 1 because you can't. Why would you put 0 as the default? So as you can see, also there's a cool feature here that when you cannot set duplicate keys. See, it's getting error right now. It's telling me not to do that. I have to change it like this. So now we created the item required. We're gonna change this to a single variable, and call this variable into crafted item or crafting result. Yeah, that's basically it. But now I'm gonna add another thing over here. I'm gonna make a new variable and call that time to craft, like this, and that's gonna be in float. I'm gonna like default this to 3 seconds, or I should leave it 2 seconds. So it will craft for 2 seconds. It will show like a progress bar loading, and then once it gets filled up, the crafting result will be given to the player. So now we save. That's all we need actually. Before we mess around with the first person character, we need to create a data table. We forgot about that. So you go to miscellaneous over here and press the data table. Don't press the composite. I don't know what this for. What's the difference? But I'm just gonna choose the data table and find the recipe structure we made. I don't know why there's 2, but let's just choose. And this one is gonna be recipe list. Well, let me make a recipe over here. The first recipe, I'm gonna name this as, give it an ID of 0, or actually let's give it an ID of 1. So now let's see what items do we have created in the game. So we made wood, ground, rock, all that stuff. So we use wood to make mining stick level 1. So we, as you can see here, the items required, I'm gonna press add over here and give the ID of the wood. The wood has the ID of 7. Ignore this first part, it's just the numbering system. I can't remove that. This is what you should put. The row name, the name of the row. So over here, it says the ID of 7, so I'm gonna type 7 here. And how much does it need? I'm gonna put 2. You can of course add more different types of items. I'm gonna choose, I don't know, a rock. I know The mining stick level 1 doesn't have any rock material. It was just an example right now. So I'm just gonna do this. Add a rock. What does the ID? What's the name of the ID? It's 5. We type 5 and just add like a single rock. The crafting result is gonna be the mining stick. Go back to the item list and grab the ID of the mining stick level 1. It's ID of 6. So you go back and type in the crafting result 6. The time to craft, I'm just gonna leave it like this. I can adjust it later. So we made our first recipe, and now let's mess around with the first person character. As you can see here, there is like our variables over here. We need to make a new variable, and let's name that because we're gonna, when we craft, we need to store things inside the character, because whenever it's like halfway through crafting, if the player closes the inventory, all the variables, the data of the variable will be gone, so everything will be reset. So that's why you're gonna store this in the first person character. So you're gonna do this and call that crafting timer. So basically we're gonna make a crafting system that's inside the inventory, and the crafting timer here, I'm gonna change that to a float. I compile so that updates. Leave this at 0 and add another variable and type is crafting. That's now it's a boolean based on the name here. Leave is crafting variable boolean to as false. And one last thing is the recipe, or actually current item. Actually, let's call this current crafting recipe. Current crafting recipe. I have no good name for that. I'm gonna call it the current crafting recipe. Actually, let me expand it and call it like that. Current crafting recipe ID. So basically, it tells the ID of the recipe. You see the recipes all have IDs. This has the ID of 1, and we're gonna leave this at 0. That's why I set this to 1, because 0 means nothing. That's how it's gonna be. So now we create all our variables, the 3 variables over here. Let's start by putting the crafting menu. Let me save first before we do. We go to the inventory widget. We're gonna make another tab, but wait, hold on. Yes, we might have to make a tab over here that opens to a crafting thing. I think this is the expandable area here. Yes, that's it. So I'm gonna make let me put this over here. Let me anchor this to the center. This is how this is gonna be as closed. Let me leave it up as expanded so that we can see inside, and put a header over here. We expand this because it's kinda not big enough. I'm gonna type here crafting, and let me just put stuff inside. So now we have the body over here. As I can see, it's outside. I do size to context, it's doing it better. We're gonna fix this issue that it gets the size changes later. So now when we test, see here, this works actually. See, it opens up. So now let me delete the text block and leave it like this. I'm gonna change the font because I don't like this. And here, yes, we should actually give it a padding or whatever we want to call it. I don't know why isn't. Wait, hold on. Yes, the margin. Yes, that's it. So I'm gonna change this to the right side of the text. I'm gonna add like 20, or actually no, that's way too small. Use 64 or 128. Yeah, that's much better. So when the player, so that the size stays like this as the minimum. You know, there's like a massive space over here. We need to create a new sub-widget. Yeah, that's the most fun part of this. Actually, it's not. So let me do this. Add a new widget blueprint. Call that recipe. Actually, I'm gonna craft recipe. I don't know what to call it. I'm just gonna call it recipe widget. Recipe underscore widget. Leave it as recipe underscore widget. So now that we made this, let me delete the canvas panel and set this to desired, the view. Now it's just a single point. I'm gonna make a scale thingy over here, scale box. I think that's the thing we want. Actually, it's not. I forgot what it's called, so let me see. Here, I found it. I think it's size box. Yes, it's size box. We add that, and let's give it like a default size, and it's gonna be like, I don't know, 10. Actually, no, that's 10. It's way too small. Why did I choose 10? I'm gonna give it like 500. That's too much. How about 400? 350. Okay, enough. And 200 like this. Too much. And I'm just gonna keep it like that. I wanna see how big it is. I'm gonna give it a border like this. Drag it under the size box. Compile and save. I want to see how it looks like in the menu over here. So I'm gonna grab the recipe widget and place it under the body like this. It looks like that. So as you can see, if I see like this, you can close and open like that. This I'm gonna give it like the same color as the background, but it's slightly different. That is gonna have it black, but it's slightly darker than, slightly less transparent. So when I play here, I'm not playing, but as you can see here, it's black, and this one is less black. So like this. And let me put all the stuff, the necessary stuff over here. Make a horizontal box inside the border, and then add an image. This image will show the icon of the item. I'm gonna do this and give it like a padding of 10, or actually let me make it better. 20. How about 20? Or you know what? Instead, I'm gonna make another size box so that it scales properly. I don't want it to squeeze and sometimes like that. So add a size box in the horizontal box. Drag the image inside the size box. Not the first one, but the new one we just created. We change the side box alignment like to centered. The width and height override, I'm gonna force it to 64 by 64 like that. And the image inside is gonna be vertically and horizontally filled like that. Let's go back to the size box. You give it a padding of 10 so that it has space from the edge, and we bring out a text, not like this. I'm gonna do it like this. Make it vertically aligned, center, and call this item name. Right now, the player should not see the word item name. We just right now temporary. Give it like a regular font. Let me see how it looks like over here. Let me compile and save first so that it shows. Yes, like this. It's good. I'm gonna expand this. Actually, I need more space. Actually, I'm gonna let me make it bigger. So I'm gonna increase the height. I don't know, like to 300. Yes. Let me right click on the horizontal box and do wrap with vertical box. Where is it? Over here. Right now there's a vertical box, and that's the horizontal box. Right now we are gonna be trying to put the icon of the item we want, the item name, and down here shows the requirements and the craft button down there. First, let me make the craft button. We make a button and place it over here, and let me shrink it like this, and do craft. Actually, no. Why am I typing here? Bring a text block. Put it inside the button. I'm gonna change the color because it looks disgusting like that. Type in craft. Now we made the craft button. We now need to show the requirements, the required items needed. this is gonna be actually a problem, because as you can see, if I have like many recipes showing at once, let me just delete. Oops, what have I done? Delete this. Now we have nothing over here. Let's make a vertical box. I'm gonna show you why. Actually, scroll. It's a scroll box. I'm gonna show you why I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change it so that this whole area you can close it too, the same as how I can close the crafting menu. Because if I put like a multiple of these thingies, let me show you. See, it gets horrible real quick. That's not good actually. We need a way to expand individual recipes. See, there's so much space over here, and somehow this reverted back. Let me change that to what it was before. Compile and save. Let me fix this. The vertical box will be wrapped with, where is it? What was it called? I forgot what it's called again. Expandable area. Wrap with expandable area. Is it here actually? Nope, it's not. So I'm gonna do something. It's just you right click and cut the entire thing. Leave the border and the size box inside, and add an expandable area. Then go to the header of the expandable area, press paste, and then let's separate the item name with the rest. So actually, let me bring the entire thing to body instead, and take what's inside. Hold on, let me make it expanded so we can see inside. Take only this part, the horizontal box that we made the icon and the item name, and place it inside the header. Now that's much better. Right now it's not shrinking because in the size box we made a height override. Let me remove that. We reset this to default and close it. So now if I play, it's like this. It's much simpler. But there's one issue with the crafting over here. As you can see, let me paste more of these. See, it's never ending. It's a scroll box that doesn't end. What's this? It shouldn't show the entire thing. So what I'm gonna do is also add a size box underneath the crafting, and I mean inside the body. So we add a size box over here. Actually, we can do right click, wrap with, and find size box like this. So we do a height override. Should not be 0. Let me put this at 300, 400, 500, 450. I don't know what number should this be at. I want to align it with the rest of the inventory. 475. What the hell? 478. 477. Yes, perfect. No, it's still a pixel off. 0.5. Yes, now it's better. You align to whatever way you like it. Let me actually. We can now minimize it. Let me minimize it. Go back to the expandable area and disable is expanded. So you compile and save. Now for the inventory, it shows the entire crafting. As you can see now, the the scroll bar appears. You can scroll down. It doesn't go beyond that. Now let's put the recipes. Let me delete the stuff we added in the recipe widget. We're gonna remove that because we're gonna spawn them when you open up the inventory, because as you can see here, whenever you add new recipes, the amount of recipes there is increases, which is a problem because you have to manually add a recipe. So instead we're gonna make them appear based on how much there is. So on the recipe widget, I'm gonna add a variable called recipe ID. like that. Make it an integer and make this editable and expose it to spawn, so that when we create it, we give it an ID for the recipe. So right now there's only one recipe. Imagine if there's like 10 recipes over here. We're gonna put we need to put 10 recipes automatically. So each one is gonna have an ID for all the recipes, and then whenever you craft, it's gonna go to the ID and checks all the information from here. And now we created this recipe ID. Let's go back to the inventory and go to the event graph. There should be a begin play over here. Event construct, yes, it's the same, basically the same thing, but for the UI. Make an. You know what? I'm gonna why did I add the sequence over here? I'm just gonna make a custom event, the same thing as how I did it in the first person character, and call this get player ref. And here I'm gonna change this to what does this do? Let me just do this. Initialize this slots. Yes. Now we're just gonna delete the sequence and do get player ref over here and initialize this slot. Initialize slots. So now that we made that, let's actually start doing the stuff we need to do. Make another custom event and call that spawn, or actually create recipe widgets. It's gonna be multiple widgets. So we do create this, we do type in the same thing over here, so we won't forget that we should call it first, because we didn't put this, so this whole thing won't work. Let me get to the data table. Get data table. I think that's how we get it. And see here, we select this recipe list and let's change this to string. Okay, we can't do that. We need to do it's an array, so we can't do that. So we do for each loop over here and convert this from here. We do this to string, or yes, and then to an integer, string 20, like this. Perfect. Now we made this. We just can create a widget like that, and let's choose the recipe widget we created earlier and give it the recipe ID, so that the ID over here gets transferred to each individual recipe widget. And now we forgot something really important over here. It's not shown in the here because we just closed the crafting UI. There's a scroll box over here. We need to click on that and set it to is variable. And let me call this recipe list scroll bar, like that. We go back here. Now we have this as a variable, and do this. We do add children. What's called? Add child. Yes, we do add child, and the return value of the create recipe widget is gonna be the content. So we first compile. Let me compile and save, and press I, and a crafting recipe appears, but it doesn't show anything because we haven't placed everything yet. So let me just try to make like multiple recipes over here. And as you can see, I made like 2 random recipes. When I play and press I, now there are 3 recipes. Each one has an ID. This has an ID of 1, ID of 2, and ID of 3. It's not showing here because it's stored in a variable. You can see that. So let's go back to the recipe widget, and let's make all the stuff inside show up. So now in the image here, we need to click on that image, and this variable is already enabled, so make sure it's enabled. And let's name this to item icon. like that. And also to the text, you click on the item text, make it as variable, and type in item name. Actually, I'm gonna type it item name text block, like that. In the event construct, we do get the item name text block, and do set text. The text is gonna be this. Let me get the recipe over here. No, like this. We do get data table, not from here. We do get data table. I keep misspelling this, I think. Or actually, no, this one. Like this. We do this before we set the text. And attach this to when the row is found. The row is gonna be like this. I can't attach it directly, so I'm gonna change this to a string and then convert that to a name. That's kind of annoying, but I'm just gonna do that. That table is gonna be the recipe, of course. And then outro, we're gonna break over here. Now we have all the stuff. And then we do get item info, the function we made before a long time ago. We get the crafting result. So basically, this is the thing we need to craft, its ID, and then again split over here, and drag out the name. So the first one should be the mining stick. Actually, let me make sure. Open that, mining stick level 1. Yes, great, showing properly. And let me fix something first. We do fill over here, and also we need to give it like a padding of 10, so that it shows properly again, and it's not showing properly, of course. So that's because of how small space I gave it. See here, no, not like that. We made a width override for the recipe widget over here. We give it like 350. I'm gonna give it like 500 better. Or actually, do we need the override? So here now it's wider. So now let's put the image. So we go to the recipe widget again. Over here we initialize everything. Once the row is found over here, after setting the text, we also set the image. So the item icon over here we created, we do get and set brush, I think. Yes, can we just set the image directly? I don't think so. It's brush, yes. So we attach this, split that, and select the brush over here. We take the slot icon and just drag it over here. Now that we made this, I play right now and showing all the images. The coconut for some reason is transparent. I don't know why. I can't see it over here. It's blending with the background properly, really well. Okay. Let's color the recipe widget to different thing, because the expandable area is like the same color as the background. Let's give it like a black color. I don't know, like this. Make it transparent also. Point. Let me give it nothing. Here, let's give it alpha of 0. Now when we play, it's like this. Yes. The problem of that is that it gets rid of the outline. There was an outline because there is like a black space over here, and this now the same color. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna change the brightness to be like 0.1 instead of or actually let me 0.25. Why is it not showing the difference? Because alpha is 0. Forgot to change that too. Like this, yes. Perfect. We give it like make it white, but with the alpha of 25 or 0.25. Now open this. Now there's like a slight outline. Looks nicer. There's a craft button that doesn't do anything. and there's still the requirements are not showing up. So need to show the player the requirements. So that's basically it for this for crafting in this episode. Next time we're gonna make the rest the crafting work, make the crafting work, and show the requirements. Right now we just made like the variables here and didn't do anything with it. Hopefully guys you understood and followed me well, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.